Coming up on Look Today, well, we've got an update from Elizabeth Sobel, president of SPAC, on the ongoing season. I've got details. Plus, Lake George Association partners with RPI to monitor the ever-growing presence of algae in our region. More on that coming up. And tonight is the last of the Summerland Music Concert Series in Glens Falls. I've got details. All ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone, I'm J. Hood Jackson. This is Look Today. On tonight's program, I sit down with Megan Sergi. Now, she's a dancer who will be appearing in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in Manhattan with the Great American Marching Band. I also sit down with Kim Harvish. She's educator, Chapman Historical Museum in Glens Falls. And she's here to talk about the history of the feeder canal and the museum's upcoming event called Family Fun Day on the Feeder. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, SPAC is in full swing, and it's a very busy summer. Now, last night's performance features Philadelphia Orchestra and Yo-Yo Ma. Well, tonight is day 2 of American Classics Week, and it's featuring works by Gershwin. Now, this year, under the leadership of Elizabeth Sobel, SPAC has not only kept the tradition of classical programming, but is also pushing the boundaries of the overall experience. New gazebo stage, SPAC on stage, and SPAC's commitment to collaboration within the community. Now, there's a lot happening. We spoke to Elizabeth about what she likes about the season so far.
Maybe the reason I'm in this business is I'm kind of a crowd junkie, just like there's nothing that gives me more pleasure than seeing an audience loving a performance and a performer.
We covered a lot with Elizabeth, so tomorrow we'll have part 2 of our conversation with her. In other news, we've got continuing coverage of a story we started to tell you about yesterday. Lake George Association has set a program up with RPI to examine the different types of algae that are rapidly appearing in our region. Now, while there's no evidence yet suggests this is doing any harm to the ecosystem, the association is asking everyone and anyone to report unusual amounts of algae to the village and the association. Well, we spoke to Walt Lender. He's executive director of the Lake George Association.
Algae is a natural occurring thing in any water environment. It's kind of a combination of the water temperature at the time and the available nutrients, and some algae blooms with certain temperatures and certain nutrients available. There are some concerns in other lakes nearby about harmful algae blooms, which we haven't seen in Lake George, but we just want to be on the lookout for that sort of thing.
Boy. All right, switching from news to weather. Well, today saw warm temperatures. Yay. There's a chance, however, of rain later on tonight. More detailed look at our weather. Let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thank you, Jesse. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponser with your first look weather forecast right now. As we look at the low pressure system over Wisconsin, it's going to draw a cold front across portions of the Midwest into the Central Plains. And it's also going to bring this a stationary front boundary into portions of the Rocky Mountain West. We'll see high pressure near the Gulf of Mexico. However, that's going to spill some Gulf of Mexico moisture, bringing scattered showers to parts of the southeast. And this low pressure system just off the Atlantic seaboard, it's going to provide some showers along the stationary frontal boundary in the mid-south. And then a stationary frontal boundary just to the north and southeast Canada. It could spawn a few showers. Otherwise, we're going to remain dry across much of the northeast. We'll see low temperatures tonight, 61 Clifton Park, 60 in Greenwich. As we move a little bit towards the north, we'll see upper 50s to around 60 degrees for overnight lows. Glens Falls, you're looking at a 60-degree overnight low. We will see mostly cloudy skies in between the frontal boundaries with a southwest breeze at about 7 miles per hour. There may be a few storms for our Friday, and a high temperature of 80 degrees. If you're walking out the door, we'll see partly sunny skies. Mid to upper 60s will be the expected temperatures. As we look at the extended forecast, we'll see a 50% chance of storms on Saturday with a high of 77. Then we'll have a slight chance of storms Sunday and Monday with mid to upper 70s for highs. Lows in the mid to upper 50s to lower 60s. Back in the lower 80s for highs Tuesday and Wednesday with full sunshine with lows in the mid to upper 50s. And winds out of the southwest. That's a look at the first look weather forecast. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponser. Now I'll send it back to you, Jesse.
Thanks a lot, Clarence. All right, back to the news. Well, tonight is the last performance of the Summerland Concert Series in Glens Falls. This is a very interesting presentation. It's called Upon the Water. It's presented by Crandall Public Library in partnership with Folk Life Center. Now, tonight's program is water-themed music that evokes the natural beauty of the Adirondacks. Now, the performance will include projected images from the Chapman's Historical Museum's exhibitions of photos entitled Light and Water, Stoddard's Lake George. Now, I told you this was unusual. Now, we were at the library today. We spoke to Christopher Bush. He's executive director of the Summerland Music Society.
Well, for us, we wanted to offer no barrier at all. Anybody can come. Children can come, adults, people who are very wealthy or not so wealthy, anybody can come. And so far, we've had a great mix. We've had locals, we've had tourists, we've had children.
Boy, if you're in Glens Falls, you ought to check this out. All right, up next, I sit down with Megan Sergi. Now, she's a dancer. She's going to be appearing in Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in Manhattan with the Great American Marching Band. How'd she get there? We're going to find out. Plus, I also sit down with Kim Harvish. She's an educator, Chapman Historical Museum in Glens Falls. She's here to talk about the history of the feeder canal system and the museum's upcoming event, Family Fun Day on the Feeder. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Then give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. A couple of lookouts. One has to go to SPAC again. Sorry, but it's just that spectacular over there this summer. You have to go sit on the lawn. Last night, my wife and I were there for Yo-Yo Ma. The lawn was packed. People are having dinner, they're having picnics, they're drinking champagne, they're drinking wine. And by the way, the concert was so over the top, I couldn't even describe it to people today. To see somebody of the caliber of Yo-Yo Ma and over 100 musicians getting whisper quiet so that all the subtleties in his playing is in the forefront is really something to see. 3 standing encores. People are jumping up and down. They're screaming. When Yo-Yo Ma came out for the 3rd encore, he started jumping up and down. This is not your typical audience. This is not your typical performing arts center. Please go sit on the lawn. You'll really enjoy it. Tonight is the last Summerland Music Society concert in Crandall Library, right in the park right there. It's really something to see. The mixed media, you know, the Chamber Group is performing and they've got video of some of the wonderful old photographs. It's themed. It's about water in the Adirondacks. And we've got a treat for you. We're going to take the show out tonight with a piece from their rehearsal. When we were over there today talking to them, Andrew got them rehearsing. So here's a chamber group rehearsing. And don't forget, tonight is sold. That's our call-in auction program. Great estate jewelry and coins. Tune in tomorrow night for the stories that matter to you. Here's Summerland.